Hello everyone. Happy Tuesday. It may take us a few minutes to get started. I'm in a new time slot. uh, and I'll explain a little bit about that. I hope I can remember to do all of the things right. I have a hot mess over here today because, partly because that's the way I run sometimes, and partly because I have had an ongoing nagging headache for the last several days, and I didn't hold my Zoom last night, which that's our craft night. We do that on Zoom, our time together, and I missed that, but I just wasn't feeling well enough to do it. I need to move this down a bit. Okay. So this, and you might have noticed a little change to what I'm doing in my schedule, and so let me explain that a little bit. I've been doing a Facebook, YouTube Live for a few years now, and just about every week, bringing you a project. I tried for a while to make it using a bundle or a stamp set that we would be using either in the card club or what other extra classes might be going on that month. And just recently, like this is week, I guess it's kind of week 2, kind of week 3, I decided to follow a different model. This provided some structure that I was really lacking in my day to day. And so on Mondays and Tuesdays, there will be a blog post featuring a stepped up card with the same bundle or stamp set that is featured in the class to go, the make and takes, if you will, that are going to appear in the Tuesday live. And then any order that you place this week up until Friday night, you'll have a chance to get the make and takes for free. So I've got some visual aids here for this, so don't worry too much. I don't see anybody on just yet, but again, this is a new time slot, so I know it's going to be a little bit bumpy for a while. And my screen is a little out of whack. I hit my head on this. This is a camera that points down to my desk, and I hit my head on it. I don't know, I forgot to move it out of the way. Usually I push the stand out of the way to give me more crafting space when I'm not on camera, and I don't know what I did, but I know that I whacked it. It didn't hurt me. It weighs nothing, but it knocked everything cattywampus. So when I turned it on to look at my desk and make sure I was all lined up, I was like looking out the window with it. I mean, it was crazy. So anyway, let's switch the camera down, and I'm gonna show you a couple of things, and then jump into how this class to go works. So the first thing I want to tell you is remind you is that the starter kit is on sale this month. So if your wish list, if you I'm trying to get this straight. If you have a wish list and it reaches, I don't know, $100, then you really need to take a look at the starter kit. I had someone join my team on Sunday. She was here for class on Saturday and had an order, and her order totaled about $64. Well, or not even that. I don't even know what it was. Anyway, with tax and shipping, we were getting at about the $75 mark. And so at that point, I said, for just $25, $30 more, you could get more than double in products what you have in your cart right now. So then we started looking a little farther at what else she might want to put in her wish list, and decided that this was absolutely a better value. Not only did she get this great value on the starter kit, but now she'll have she'll start out with a 20% discount that she can start shopping with today. The clearance rack had a refresh today, so it's a great time to do a little shopping and do even more savings. So she'll have a 20% discount through March of next year at least. and she'll be part of our amazing community. I was so touched by the messages that my team gave her when I welcomed her to our Facebook group. Everybody was so encouraging, and it was just everything that you want your community to be. So that is the starter kit. It's an extra special deal in October, and I'd love to talk with you about it. Maybe you need some stamping friends. Maybe you need a bargain. Whatever it is, let's talk. Now, before I get this desktop all messy, I have to show you a couple of cards that I have received just recently. And these are both from a relatively new customer named Lana. And aren't they gorgeous? I have never seen anything like this fold. And I'm not going to take it apart in order to figure it out. But man, oh man, is that... Well, you know what? Maybe it's not as... Maybe these triangles here are the pieces that were cut off from here. Maybe so. So I might be able to figure it out without taking it apart. That would be the goal. But love these cards. And guys, this is just beautiful, simple stamping. And I love it. Thank you very much, Lana, for sending those to me. All right, now let me show you, okay, remind you first of the cards that were on the blog Monday and Tuesday. So this is one of the cards. This was on Monday, and it's a little stepped up, okay? It's got some heat embossing. It's got several layers, but it's a beautiful, beautiful card. I stepped it up by decorating the inside of the card and the outside of the envelope. So I've got this whole package ready to address and send out. So that was Monday. And then today's blog went out with this card. And I'm not a gold person. I'm much more of a silver person. But man, oh man, is this beautiful with its mint and soft sea foam. I mean, just these soft, beautiful colors and this amazing little bits of gold. Now, I didn't take the time to decorate the inside of the card, partly because when I put this together, I put it upside down and I had to do a little corrective action on it. But this was Tuesday's card, today's card, so you had it on the blog post this morning. It's got a lot more die cutting to it, some blending with the blending brushes. So I think this is definitely an over-the-top card. I cased one of these. So this is a case of the catalog, and then another demonstrator, and I mentioned her name in the blog and it escapes me right now. And then this one is a case from Jelly Bean Crafting, I believe is her blog. And guys, I've got the heater running and I'm gonna just duck under and turn it off because I'm having to talk over it and it's getting a little warm. So let's look at the cards from today. So these are the cards that we're gonna make today. So this is card number 1. And this is card number 2. And this is card number 3. So all feature that fabulous Decorated with Happiness bundle. I believe it's on page 27 of the mini catalog. And with a qualifying purchase, so with a $35 purchase, I'm going to send you the make and takes. Let me show you what that's going to look like. Okay, so you would get a kit that looked like this. So you'd have the ingredients to make 2 each of card 1, 2 each of card 2, and 2 each of card 3. Guys, the die cutting is done for you. The embossing is done for you, at least everywhere that I could. The designer series paper that's included is cut for you here as well. There'll be a written tutorial, and of course you'll have today's video to go along with it. Now, with a $50 purchase, you'll also get the embellishments that are used on some of these cards today. This is the Simply Elegant trim, so you'll get that. What you won't get are the bling, the gems or the rhinestones that I'm using. You'll just add whatever you already have, or make that part of your purchase. So the tutorial will certainly tell you what all of those are. So, so this is going to be a real system that takes place. And so after today's video, I've got some mailing to do from the previous weeks, because I have a feeling that some people don't even know that they qualified. So there's a host code over there on the left-hand side of your screen. And when you place your order using that host code, then you go into the, that's what triggers the qualifying for the make and takes. All right, let's jump in with card number 1. And I'm still shuffling stuff over on my desk. Don't mind me in the background. All right, so these are the pieces that we need for card 1. I've already die cut this piece, and the template for it is on my Stamparatus. Now, if you prefer to stamp and then die cut, then you'll simply take a piece of scrap white paper and do that on your own. I am much better at using the Stamparatus to line up something I've already cut. So we have a card base of soft succulent. Then we have and we're going to stamp Christmas greetings. I'm trying to keep my head out of the camera and make sure that that is still in the camera. I think cleaning off my desk has got to be at the top of the list today too. All right, and I'm just putting this in the bottom right corner. Careful to stamp straight down and then lift straight up. Then I'm going to go ahead and get out the Stamparatus, and we're going to stamp the center. We're going to stamp the ornament. And then we're also going to use the Stamparatus to stamp our watercolor wash background. So I've already done the lining up of this. And I'm thinking that I probably need to do a technique video and show that a little bit. I think that sometimes in these videos we skip steps that you may not really be aware of. And it would be beneficial if we took the time to show them to you. All right, so my Stamparatus comes with 2 of these acrylic plates. I don't know what they're called. Acrylic plate is what we're going to call them. Now, I've already cut out my shape. You saw that. And I've lined up the placement of my ornament so that I know that my ornament is going to fit right in here. Now, I thought I was really clever, and I stamped all 3 of my ornaments at one time on the Stamparatus and then die cut them and then came back here. Well, they didn't line up exactly right. So I cut my piece of paper up and started over, and I actually taped the template down, which I thought was, oh, well, that was kind of a happy accident because I would have never thought to do that. All right, but now I'm just going to place this there just like a little puzzle piece, and I'll ink up my stamp over here using polished pink on both of this, and it's perfect. I love the kind of whimsical retro feel to this stamp set. All right, I'm actually going to set that out of the way, and we'll come back and do the inside in a moment. I need to find a chamois to clean this off. And this is a piece of a chamois. It started out, you know, that color there. and it is, you know, mostly clean most of the time. Now I'm going to take this plate off, take my grid paper off. Now, because I'm working with photopolymer, I do still need this foam sheet. I'm going to bring in what I've already measured out to be what I need for my watercolor shape. So this part of my card is made using one of the watercolor shapes, and I love this stamp set. This is it's in the annual catalog. It's a photopolymer set. It has all of these fun shapes that you can do so many things with, including techniques like this. Now I need to find, all right, Soft Succulent is our color, and I've marked where I want to put my paper so that I get it in the right place. And that way it'll be above Christmas Blessings and almost centered in this white piece. Now, this is watercolor, so it is going to look, you know, kind of splotchy in here. And then it's going to stamp down. So pretty. It just gives it that, I don't know, variegated or watercolor look. And that chamois has run off again. All right, and now we are finished with the Stamparatus. You don't want to store your Stamparatus with the plates in the hinges. You want to set them out. And I'm just going to stack mine like that and then get them all put away in a little bit. Okay, next up is we're going to stamp this lovely branch across. Bring this over here so you can see the card that we're working towards. And we're just going to stamp the branch across. Now this is what a large stamp, and most often when I'm working with a large stamp, I bring the ink pad to the stamp rather than the stamp to the ink pad. And then the only thing I'm looking for here is that I want pretty much my ornament to end up, you know, kind of centered left to right. So I want, let's see. So I'm just trying to get a piece of this branch so that it looks like it's hanging off of that. All right, and that is Evening Evergreen that we've stamped that in. And I don't, yeah, we are. Oh, I can't see the comment. I know somebody's just did something. So if I set things up right, I am streaming both to YouTube and to Facebook. And actually, I put the link of the video in the blog post, and so at the end of today, that blog post will have, not the end of today, as of right now, this is actually streaming there as well. All right, we need this little bit here. So we're going to pull back out the polished pink. Oh my gosh, I nearly flubbed it. Have you ever done that before? We all have, haven't we? Stamp it off. So I'm just using the same color, but I'm going to get a different variation of it just by stamping off once. So you'll see in instructions where you're told to stamp off or use a second generation of the stamp to image. That's what we're saying, is just stamp it off so that you get a lighter version of that color. I can't decide where to put that silly thing. Okay, now we are ready to put our pieces together. Now, in the instructions, because of space constraints, I frequently tell you to cut the card base, cut the polished pink layer, and then put it on the card, and then do your stamping on the white and put it on the card. But in the reality, I build it usually these layers, and then I take it to the card. I do that before, however, I put it on anything on dimensionals. And let's get out my bone folder. I've got a good crease. Come on, start. And I gave this a little extra width. So I'm using my grid paper to help guide me to get that on straight. Then I'm going to find the dimensionals that I've hidden over here. And I'm going to put one large one at the bottom and then one mini there. Peel that off. And then let's see how this works. I think that's okay. Then let's add a little bit of bling. I confess, I don't think I have used these Opal Rounds yet. These are the in color Opal Rounds. So the 2021-2023 in color Opal Rounds. And I'm going to grab a small pink one. So this is polished pink. And put it there. Another small pink one. Just put it there. Then I'm going to grab this and put it here. Another one. Put it say there. And then we'll grab the large one. Did you lose your... Oh, you lost your sticky. Alright, I lost my sticky, so I'm going to try and grab it. So it's a tiny little glue dot at that point. Put it there. That putty end of the Take Your Pick tool is the bomb. All right, and there you have it. That's all there is to card number 1. But how pretty is that? I absolutely love it. I hope you do as well. And though I just sent one flying. All right, card number 2 is this one. Now, a couple of things to tell you about this. This strip of Designer Series paper could go end to end, but I didn't to conserve Designer Series paper because, you know, I might run out of that hoard, right? No, my stash is safe, but I decided that I would just use 2 strips on either end, and that way I could actually get them centered easily. I don't know, it made a lot of sense when I did it the first time. So let's see if I can still make it make sense. So I want to work with the card base, and I'm actually going to put these on the base. Now I do want to see that my pattern continues, and it does. So I'm going to put this one here and then this one here. And let's see if I remember how many spaces I needed to be up. So I'm leaving an inch there and an inch there. That works well. Okay, so I'm actually just going to bump that down to there, and now I've got that solid line on both sides to help me out. I'll put a little glue down. Oops. This paper is from the Santa Express. Oh, I hope that's the name of the paper. And I made a little mess of the glue. Pardon my head. I just want to make sure I get this to the edge. I think my glue is going to be fine. But this pack of paper I have fallen in love with over the last week and used it. I used it last week in the North Pole Mischief cards. And there are a few of those going out in the mail. All right, so that has got that piece, and then our stamped layer is just going to go over top. And who's the wiser, right? Okay, so the first thing I did was stamp my this green branch, and I am using Shaded Spruce. I think I felt Sally's shudder from here. Shaded Spruce. We all have one color at least that is our, I don't know, we call it our nemesis, but it's our signature color to make a mess with. And it's not Sally's fault at all that that it happened to be Shaded Spruce for her, but it is. When she ordered her kit and joined my team a few years ago, she ordered Shaded Spruce as part of her kit, and it didn't travel so well, and it had made a mess of everything in her box. So Stampin' Up! Had to send replacements for all of that. So Shaded Spruce is the color that we say is Sally's color. And usually I'm okay with it, except that will transfer to my chamois, and if I were to pick my chamois back up, I would pick up that green with it. So I try to rinse out my chamois pretty quickly after I stamp with those rich colors to get them out. And so again, I'm going to stamp off, and pardon my head, hope my head's not in there. Oh, it was a little bit, darn, I'm sorry. And I'm just pressing down, and these are not meant to line up perfectly, so if you are a person that needs things to line up and be exact, very precise, then this is probably not the stamp set that you want to work with, because it doesn't do it at all. That's not its mission. All right, now I'll go ahead and stamp the ornaments next. And so I've got my dies in here with me. That one just kind of jumped over here. So we're going to use this one, and this one, and we won't need this. We're going to need that one and that one. All right, so I stamped, what did I do with it? There. I used a Sweet Sorbet for the first ornament. And now, again, using my grid paper, I'm going to try and get this ornament basically in a straight line. Now, you all may not remember, but since it's been a lifetime story for mine, the first blog post I did with this stamp set, I shared the story about my brother eating a glass ornament. So these ornaments always make me think of the glass ornaments that my grandparents had when we were young. And my brother's birthday is the end of November. So I don't remember now if he was just turned 1 or just turned 2 or 3 or 5 or 14. No, he was a baby. But he got hold of one of those glass ornaments and he ate it. And he was swallowing just as fast as my mom could try and fish it out. But she must have been pretty good, because he never had any further. I gotta turn that. Sorry, I've got to change that alarm if I'm going to go live at this time. So how is this time? Hi, Teresa. I mean, no time is going to be good every week, and it's not going to be good for everybody, but I'm trying to find something that works for us most of the time. All right, so there's the mint macaron, and again, I just stamped off to give myself that lighter color. And we're going to go back and stamp. Oh my gosh, I lost it. Well, I'm either stealing it from the last card or I've misplaced it. I'm going to clean up in just a second, but I'm going to go ahead and stamp my greeting. I love this font. So I don't know. I think of this stamp set as kind of retro 70s. Can you all see that how I'm lining it up with the grid paper? I'm just letting the line of that stamp on either side. And I've got some red on the back of the stamp, but I think it's okay. And I think that's all right. And I got it fairly well centered right to left. That's important before I give it what I call the Tennessee cut. I'm trying to teach my out-of-state friends that that's what this cut is called. And once I start cleaning, I kind of need to clean them all, or one of them will get left out and cause a problem. We might be finished with that one. I'm not entirely sure. All right, the Tennessee cut scissors. You've already figured out what it is, though, haven't you? We're just going to go from here to the top, and then here to the bottom. And there you have it. It's a little fatter than Tennessee, but that's okay. Now, back to our card base. Push my stamps out of the way. I popped this on dimensionals, and my dimensionals look like a train wreck a lot of times because I get tired of peeling the back off of all of the individual ones. So if I'm popping something up on dimensionals, like it's a layer like this, I steal the edge, or a good bit of the edge, from whatever I have handy. So, but look how fast that went. Woo! And then sometimes the dimensionals are there as much for stability as they are for stickiness. In this case, I peeled them all, but I don't always. Now, I'm using this line and this line to help me line up these bottom corners 1/4 of an inch up and 1/4 of an inch in. And that should line up pretty well. Ta-da! And I'm going to take some of this elegant trim in silver. Oh my gosh, a bunch of that just came off the roll. I'm just going to run it through my fingers a little bit to try and soften the crazy curls. This doesn't really work any better with Hazel's hair than it did with that, but you know, it helps a little bit. And I've got to post a photo. I meant to do it yesterday. Sunday I worked with the ladies of my church, and we have recently started a card ministry. And I have some people that don't consider themselves to be creative at all. In fact, Flo Jean tells me that her 4th grade art teacher promised her she'd never have to work with scissors again. And she's kind of stuck to that motto. But she didn't make the card as it was shown, and it turned out so gorgeous. And the funny thing is that somebody else that was there had asked about, you know, turning it landscape instead of portrait. And I said, well, yeah, go ahead. This, you know, it's whatever you want to do. And she decided, no, she would just stick to the way it was. And then when it was over and we looked at Flo Jean's, she was like, oh man, should have done it, because hers was really cool looking. All right, so I just ran a little bit of the Seal Plus down to stick that ribbon. And then I'm going to dimensionals again, and then line this up in this bottom right corner. And I'm okay if the point is on or off that top layer. And I'm okay if my bow goes, because it can fold. Bow goes. How about that? Now, let's take a little bone folder action and get that down. And I'm going to grab some of the, now these are actually called Festive Pearls, but when they were first introduced, they were mislabeled red and green adhesive back. So if you have some that say red and green and not festive, that's okay. That they're the same thing. We just had a labeling snafu for a while. But these are awesome. They have gold and silver pearls, as well as pool party, and okay, I don't know which red that is. But you know, a lot of times you can mix these so easily. And that is card number 2. So what do you think so far? I love, love, love this stamp set. Card 2. All right, card number 3. I thought this was going to be the really easy one, but I tell you, I'm going to do it a little differently now that I've made my sample, because it was not. Let's just start. So we're going to start with a card base of basic white, and then I have a layer that I embossed and then cut out the circle, and then I have some DSP. This is come from the Brightest Glow, but don't worry, the supply list will be shared. Now, a couple of things I want to point out. Sometimes when you die cut, you can get, and see there is one right there, it's very faint, but you get an extra indentation around your image, around your cutout. When I did this the first time, I embossed and then cut out, and that line was fairly noticeable. So for this one, I die cut the circle out and then did the embossing, and it's a much softer look. This one is also one that I die cut afterwards, so you're not getting a great look at it there. But and some of the other things that I did that I'll change up, I used the distressed gold on my first ornament, and it's too flimsy. So we're going back to the regular gold foil. It's much sturdier. I popped up my embossed layer over the card base and over the designer series paper, and I knew that was going to make it a little tricky with the branch, but I don't like the way it looks. So this time we're going to do it differently, and by that time you will have seen both ways, and you can decide which way you want to do it. Now this is a 3-inch square. My circle is not quite 3 inches, so I pulled out my silicone mat, and I'm just going to kind of add some adhesive around, and then I'll run my finger on the inside, and that gives me a chance to push that adhesive out if there's any that's sticking out. And then I'm just going to put this in place. It doesn't have a real pattern to it, so as long as I've covered the circle, I'm fine with it. And then we can put this down. I need to find my, okay. Now we could still pop this up. I can't decide. I'm not going to. But remember, that's an option when you do yours. It's always an option. Even if I don't speak it, it's always an option. Now this border is smaller than the one on the other card. There you go. And I could have used an adhesive sheet when I cut this out, and then it would stick down firm, but I kind of like it not sticking down completely. That makes it more realistic. So I am going to add a little glue, to the areas that have a little more. Oh my gosh, Cindy, I need that little bottle of yours. Oh, and there's another one that didn't cut out, but it didn't fall off. Over by my die cutting machine. Oh my gosh, the little pieces. It's a mess. So let's talk about what happened in the clearance rack today. One of the things is that gorgeous paper that we all loved last year, the was it Whimsical Trees? It has whimsy in it, and it has pink and misty moonlight. It has a lot of our favorite colors, and so much more than just Christmas. I'm going to use it to create gift card and treat holders for, okay, why are you not lining up the way I want you to? Here we go. How many times do you pick up and set yours down? Now look, I've got a big old dot of glue right there. Once that dries, I can get that right up. So that's fine. Then this, I think, is the trickiest part of the whole thing, and I might welcome. Okay, now I do want to run this. Come on, pick up. I know you're not stuck down completely yet. Thank you. Now, I'm going to figure out where I want my ornament to hang so that I can put the ends down with a glue dot. I think I like it just like that. So I'm going to put this glue dot right below that star. Everybody's got that right there. Okay. Big question. Where are the glue dots? Okay, so now I'm going to find I want it to be really at the end. I mean, I can trim it with my snips if I need to. Okay. There we go. Now I am going to try and trim that end off just a little bit. It's okay that it went flying. And then I'm going to tie a bow. A bigger bow might have helped also. So I ended up with a mess of glue dots over there on the first one. Aren't you glad that I did a trial run? And be careful when you're doing that you don't cut into your hand. I've done that in case that wasn't obvious from the warning. It doesn't feel good. And I'd love to use a little bit of the liquid glue instead of a glue dot, but I don't know that this cord would support it. So I want this right at the tip. You've done that too, huh? It's yeah, it hurts for a while, doesn't it? Okay, I like the way that looks as well as it can be, and I'm pleased with that where it is landing. And so you know what I might do is actually just put a little bit of glue there. Don't think that's going to be enough. Well, I've already got to come back and clean up some other glue. An adhesive sheet, you know, I forgot, and my teammate Angie taught me this, and you don't have to use the adhesive sheet on the entire image. So I could have put strips of the adhesive sheet on the part of this that I wanted to stick down. Dadgum. It would be pretty as a shaker card. It might be a little less fussy. But yeah, it is turning out very pretty. And it's going to need a little something. Yep, I need that little tiny dispenser. Whoa, okay. Hold that for just a second while it sets. And then, where is my... I did steal it. Okay, well, yeah, I'm going to steal from whatever's over there to stamp my greeting on this one. And I'm going to go for Boughs of Jolly. Teresa, now you've got me thinking I might need to do this as a shaker card. It's almost Hazel's birthday, so I've got to be thinking about, I like to do shaker cards for her birthday. All right, and I want Evening Evergreen, which is here. And I'm going to flag this end, so yeah, this embossing folder is really kind of fun. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it will be posted, and of course it'll be in the tutorial should you take advantage of that that ordering special and get the make and takes for free. All right. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Now, here's some ribbon. Need the ribbon scissors. I'm going to cut a little bit here and give it a Tennessee cut. And I'm going to put that like so. Scotch tape works well to put your to adhere your ribbon to your cardstock too. And then do that like maybe even up a little higher. So this is an erasable pin. And yeah, I am definitely going to just eyeball it and take out my line. And dimensionals. Well, I didn't want you right there. And it didn't need to for stickiness, but it would help with keeping that ribbon in place. That goes there. And there you have card 3. So here's the first version, and no, I think that it's just fine to take this so that it's relatively a smooth layer rather than down and up, like on this one where I put this on dimensional, so it is 2 different levels, and I'm sure tree branches are too, but anyway, so card 3, card 2, and card 1. And then remember, over on the blog, so these are the 3 cards that are included in the make and take. You make 2 of each, and you'll get that make and take with a $35 purchase between now and Friday evening. So you'll make 6 cards total, all featuring the Decorated with Happiness. I'll do the embossing and the die cutting for you, so you get to just play and stamp. This card is in the blog today. This card's on the blog post on Monday. And there are recipe cards for both of those on the blog as well. And what is the blog? It's michellesalcho.com. The only trick there is to remember that Michelle just has one L. So everybody, I hope you have a blessed day. If you have any questions, if I can help you in any way, place an order or register for a class, then that's what I'm here for. Have a great day, everybody, and I will see you again next Tuesday. Noon is scheduled. All right, take care. Bye-bye.